Hey, SB Galt here with a singing lesson video for you, and this one's going to be about how to sing in tune, which is one of the most important things to practice because out-of-tune singing ruins a performance. So we need to train to be able to hear subtle differences in pitch, and practice getting the voice to hit the pitches we intend, dead on the mark, every single time. So the first thing we need to do is be able to recognize the difference between a note that's in tune and one that's off. So I'm going to match this note. First, perfectly in tune. Ah. See, an in tune note sounds very pure. Now, let me try and sing it slightly out of tune. Ah. See how sour that sounds? What happened is I wasn't quite hitting the note I should. In this case, I was a little bit underneath it, a little bit flat. And the result is really hard to listen to. If you hit a note like that in a performance, your audience is going to cringe. So to make sure something like that never happens to you, we're going to do a few exercises to help you perfect your ability to sing in tune. Here we go. For the first exercise, we're going to practice matching a pitch. Avoid bending to the note, scooping underneath it. This is your chance to really just focus on being precise. How this goes is I'm going to first play the pitch. You don't sing yet. Just hold that note in your mind. Wait until the piano's decayed away and you have silence. Then try to sing the note as precisely as you can. Make sure to sustain until the piano plays the note again, so you can test whether you were on the mark or a little bit off. The whole thing will sound like this. Ah. Doing it this way will force you to rely on your ear and your memory and that process of translating what you're hearing in your head into what you're actually singing. Really important stuff. Okay, let's give it a try. Here's your first note. Don't sing yet, just keep the note in your memory. Now sing and sustain until the piano comes in again. Remember, when the piano comes in, you're listening for that very pure sound of being right on the pitch. If you miss it in your first try, do it again. Don't accept being close. This is about being precise. Got it? Now let's do it a few more times, other places in your range. And again. Bit higher up now. Okay, we'll do 2 more of these, then we'll move on to another exercise. Last one. Now that we've practiced our pitch accuracy, let's talk about relative distance. A melody is made up of a series of individual notes spaced exact distances apart. And the arrangement of those distances is what makes a melody sound the way it does. The distance between 2 notes is called an interval, and there's a finite amount of intervals used in Western music. And if you work to be able to sing all of them perfectly, singing a whole melody perfectly is just putting those things you can sing individually in a specific order. Well, we're going to start by practicing the intervals that are the building blocks of melody. The half step, which is the smallest interval, ah. It's also called the semitone or the minor second. And the whole step, which is the next biggest interval. Ah. Let's get these 2 intervals under our belt. We're going to sing them alternating between the 2, like this. Half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. All right, it's your turn. What you just sang is called the octatonic scale, which is a scale form most people think of as pretty hard to sing. But since you were just staying focused on each step along the way, you made it through. That's a powerful idea. You can break down any melody, no matter how challenging, into its interval parts, and then you have a way in. But maybe more importantly, this means that by practicing these little pieces that make up melody, you're preparing yourself ahead of time for any melody you might come across. So, perfecting all your intervals is another way to improve your ability to sing in tune. Okay, it's important for us to balance our technical work with something more musical. So we're going to learn a melody, but precisely. The first step is listen critically to the melody. Now that might sound pretty complicated, but let's slow it down and focus on the distances between the notes. This melody does use some intervals we haven't practiced yet, but that's okay. Just concentrate on the sound of each interval, even if you don't have a name for it yet. And see if you can identify the places in the melody where there are the whole steps and half steps that we've practiced. Here it comes a little bit slower, and this time, hum along. See if you can still sing the melody while you're hearing an accompaniment as well. Hopefully you know the melody pretty well by now. Keep humming, unless you know the words, in which case, sing along. Now that's a good start, and I've put together a collection of exercises to help you really perfect your ability to sing in tune. The link for that will be in the description. Great work. I'll see you next time.